What's up, guys, and welcome back to Planet Zoo, the Aspen Valley edition. This is episode 2. As you can see, we've got our car park. In the last episode we went through and we built our ticket area. So now I'm trying to figure out how I want to go through and do like a courtyard slash welcoming center, just something that kind of pops out at the guest saying, hey, we're actually in the zoo now. Because admittingly, the ticket area, when you come out of the car park, it doesn't look like, hey, we're actually in a zoo. So at this point in time, what I'm thinking is, okay, well, I'll put a couple information centers in there, I'll put some bathrooms, I'll put in all the vendors, and I'll put in like 1 or 2 exhibits. And the exhibit things, I still haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do the backstage area. That's something that I will do off camera, just as at the end of this video I will be showing kind of a slower walkthrough. I guess not even really slower, but we'll be doing a quick walkthrough of the whole park of what we've done so far. Admittingly, we haven't done anything with the animals yet, but that's part of building a zoo in this game. So what I've done is I decided, okay, well, it's all in the same area, so I want it to be built to represent essentially the same thing as the ticket area. And here I'm kind of fumbling around trying to figure out how I'm going to get this fence to mesh up just right, and my mouse and the game just were not agreeing with each other, but I finally got it. And so now I'm like, alright, what am I going to do next? I need to do something back here. And at first I was going to do a staff walkway right through there, just put in a door or something, and I ended up abandoning that, although I tried several times to get what I wanted. Most likely I'll end up going with a staff area going through the side like we saw just a couple seconds ago. But here I'm like, okay, well, screw it, I'm going to abandon that for now, and I'm just going to figure out how to trim this out, get the roof on, and go from there. And I really do like these wooden roofs, these modern wood pieces. I think they're quite lovely, and you can mix and match them with just about anything and have it come out right. So at this point in time, what I was thinking was I was going to have this like sail type roof, and I was right here I'm trying to figure out how am I going to support that, because that was kind of my original intent. Excuse me. And I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. It needs to match the ticket booth, so I put in the same roofing. And here I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to mesh that up, because there isn't a corner piece that matches. And I went, wait a minute, why am I doing that? Why don't I just make that another rooftop like garden type thing? So that's what you see there. I block it off. I am going to fill it with sod like that. Mercy. And now I'm trying to find a door for the bathrooms. And I ended up going with this one here. I thought it was a nice door. Just change the color a little bit, make it match a little bit better. All good. Put up some signage for it. And again, this is all just little detail work, so I'm trying to figure things out. I'm like, do I want to put in something different? Do I not want to put in something different? I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And I decided, since this is going to be like a foresty area, we'll use some of the Nordic pieces that are in the game as our shop storefront, I guess. I want to keep it simple, not going into huge amounts of detail because for various reasons, like you can make stuff up. And I decided, I'm going to go ahead and skip putting awnings on there because that roof already kind of covers that stuff. But I do need some signage. So I'm just using the in-game signs because they're there. They only cost one piece on our piece count. So why not use them? They don't look the best, but they work. So now I'm like, okay, well I need to cover this stuff up where the path comes off. And I decided I'm going to go ahead and use, I believe I'm using tundra rocks here. I can't tell because my screen is kind of minimized while I'm narrating this. It's tundra or taiga, one of the two. But I like the way that came out, and I bring that in later on and you'll see that. And here I'm like, okay, well what can I do for trim? And I started with the rocks and I was like, well that's dumb because that's not what I used on the ticket booth area. So I grabbed the same pieces that we used on the ticket booth area and I've just carried that over into this side. And if I remember correctly, I only did like the parts that the guests would actually see. Just like most places would, you wouldn't go all out with decorating the stuff that the paying customers won't see. So that's what I did. I tried to keep that in mind. It's all about the experience for the guest. You want them to enjoy themselves. And so here we're using this roof trim as wall trim. And I just changed the color to match what we have on the ticket booth. And I throw that in all the areas, again, where the guests would see it. And this was, I don't want to say it was challenging, but it was kind of tedious. Getting it all to line up just exactly the way I wanted it to. As you can see, I'm kind of checking things out. I decided I wanted that to be a separate group. So here I'm looking for aspen trees because I want to put those aspens up in here. At first I try out a pine tree, but I decided, that's stupid. This is called Aspen Valley. We need aspen trees. Man, my throat is dry. Now, in the wilderness, like here in Colorado, you will see bunches of aspen trees together. And the reason being is because aspen trees all share the same root system. So the roots from one aspen tree will actually be the roots for another aspen tree, which is really, really interesting. It's one of those weird, stupid little factoids that I learned growing up here around them. And right here I'm like, okay, well this is going to be the start of like a garden area. I want lots of garden areas, lots of trees, just lots and lots of vegetation, along with rocks. I want a lot of rock works because, like I said, this is going to be kind of like in a forest up in the mountains. Maybe not all the way up in the mountains, maybe more like a foothills type area. But here I'm kind of screwing around, seeing what I like, what fits, what doesn't fit. I really like these sage bushes, but I decided against it if I remember correctly. Yeah, I decided to line this out like a proper garden. So I laid 3 of those down. I laid some of these, I think that's crowberry. And then what I did, I'm really struggling with this part, is I wanna grab all those, but not other things. So I just ended up single clicking it and then repeating it. I carried all of that through, and now I'm looking for really low shrubbery to use on this side. And I found it, and I figured I'll do the same thing, and I didn't like that at all. So I just repeated it 2 more times. No big deal. And here's where I bring in, if I remember correctly, this is where I brought in the, yeah, this stuff here. I forgot what it's called. And so I wanted like a nice lush green area and some kind of deserty stuff, because that's what you see in the foothills, especially here in the Rocky Mountains. You'll get a lot of these prickly pear cactus, and you'll get just a lot of dry, they almost look like weeds, but you know, I made it work out pretty well using this variety of plant life. And I brought in some greenery just to break up that moss that I used in there. And I liked the way it turned out, so I went over and I started doing this corner piece, which I had kind of the same idea, but I went away from it. This is more chaotic, I guess. I want it to look more natural, so it's definitely more chaotic than the neatly planted stuff. It's just stuff growing wherever it decides to grow. And that's kind of how I wanted it to look like. I just wanted it to be. Again, you've heard me say before, you'll hear me say it again in this build. I wanted something very organic looking. A little bit of struggling there, but I finally got what I enjoyed. And now I'm like, okay, I need some signage for the actual zoo, and that's what this little square here is supposed to be. And I spent a lot of time let me tell you guys, I spent a lot of time staring at this computer screen. You don't see it here, I cut all that out. But it was like somewhere right in here, I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with all this? Yeah, it was actually after I planted that dead wood there. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. Now what? So I ended up cutting the recording, and I'm gonna come right back to it. Right here. So this is after I took a break, got some lunch, and I started looking at everything again and went, oh crap, I didn't finish trimming out this area. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm finishing this part. Jeez, I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's up with the coughing today. I'm not sick, my throat is just dry, and it might be because of the wildfires we have here in Colorado. The air quality right now is not very good. Granted, where I live, we're about 150 miles away from the fires, but for the last few days, it's just been, the winds have not been favorable to us here in Colorado Springs. We've been getting a lot of the smoke from those fires. It's been hazy here where I live for the last few days. It's been rough. And I think it's finally starting to take its toll on my respiratory system, because I've been coughing all morning. But I really like these pieces here. These roof trim pieces, they work really, really well for wall trim. So here I finally got my idea. I know what I'm going to use. I couldn't remember the lettering. I always want to say lettering when it's actually alphabet, to bring up that stuff. So here I'm making it out, you know, I'm going to make out Aspen Valley. Roughly the same color as what you see on the title screen. And I always forget to do that. It's really simple, really easy to do. With this, I didn't use any custom lettering because those things are so piece heavy that it's ridiculous. There's good ones out there, there's fantastic ones out there, but there's too many pieces to really make sense to use in a park, in a full-size park. Now if this were just like one habitat or maybe two habitats, then yeah, it would make sense to do that, but it's not, so I didn't. So here I'm just making the sign, and I'm liking the way this has turned out. I started off with these bigger, wood logs, and I decided no, they're too big. I didn't decide that until later, and you'll see that. Hopefully I remember to edit those coughs out. And I know this, my videos, my speed builds aren't as fast as others. I get it. But believe it or not, this whole video was like over an hour's worth of recording time, and simply by speeding it up I dropped it to 22 minutes. So hopefully it's not too boring for you guys. I just know watching somebody build and talk about what they're thinking while they're building it can get really boring really quick. So I decided I'll just use the speed build method and narrate over it. But here I'm liking the way this little welcoming area, this courtyard's turning out. Slowly but surely it's turning into something beautiful, which is what I really wanted to accomplish. So I got a little bit of water in there, lots and lots of foliage. Again, I'm looking for stuff that you would find here on the North American continent, in terms of plants. And again, it's kind of chaotic. It's a little bit planned, but it's more like, wow, what's going on here, you know? Just lots and lots of randomness, which is what I was going for. Throw in some reeds there because you definitely see that all over the place whenever there's water, especially in the foothills. And then I decided, why not, let's throw some lilies in there. And I'm quite happy with how that turned out. So now I'm thinking, alright, well, we should have some benches because that's quite a walk from the car park just to here. And with the way guests are in this game, yeah, they're gonna want a place to rest. So I threw down some trash bins because we are here where you got tickets and everything else. People are gonna empty out their pockets, and just throw stuff away while they buy other things. Maybe like a bag that their gift will come in, they'll throw that away. So now I'm trying to figure out lighting, how I want to light that sign up. And at first I thought I was going to use this floor lighting, and it does look good, but not good enough. So then I tried these African floor lightings, and I think I screwed around with this for quite some time. before I said, you know what, no more of that. I know I switched it out. Or did I? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I kept... Oh, that's right. I kept those African ones. And here I was like, okay, well, I need some path lighting. And I just didn't like the way that looked. I was like, okay, well, I'll come back to that. That was kind of my thinking, was if I can't figure it out right away, I generally come back to it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do the wall lighting. And I was like, oh yeah, these area lights. This would be really good. I pick a nice little subtle green color. And at first I had them exposed, and you'll see that I bring them underground completely. Because, again, we're not going for super realism. It just has to be realistic enough. It has to look nice. And then here, same thing. Decided I'll do the walls. I just happened to be looking at them and went, huh, those could use some lighting. So I threw them in there right quick. Then I went back to the floor lighting, or what I thought was going to be floor lighting. And I just looked at it and went, yeah, this is good. But anyways, guys, this is pretty much it for the video. I think I'm gonna do a quick fly through of what I did. But I do want to say thanks for watching. As always, be safe, be cool, and have fun. We'll catch you next time.